Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here this morning for this announcement. I'm Greg Nesbitt, the MLA for Riding Mountain, and I'm pleased to be here with my colleagues, Minister Eileen Clark and Minister Reg Helwer, Minister Cliff Cullen. We're also joined by Mayor Rick Crest and two of his councillor colleagues, Jeff Fawcett and Bruce Lupke. I'd also like to welcome Lon Cullen, the President and CEO of the Brandon YMCA. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge that we're gathered here on ancestral lands, Treaty 2 territory, the traditional territory of the Anishinaabeg, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and on the homeland of the Red River Métis. At this time, I'd like to invite my friend, Minister Clark, to the podium.
Well, thank you very much, Greg, and it's a pleasure to be here, and I'm feeling bright and sunny just about like the day. I didn't sleep well the night before, but I had a good night's sleep last night, so ready to go for the day, and we've got a really exciting day in Brandon. We had part of the day here yesterday. What you see here today is a very small contingent. I think we were 12 or 14 last night at a reception between our MLAs and cabinet ministers in Brandon. So this is the first of what might be many ministerial tours around Manitoba. And I think we all agree that we have had an absolutely great 3 days traveling to Dauphin, Neepawa, Russell, Brandon, and we were to have a stop in Carberry this afternoon, but it included our Premier, who is out on the east side of the province with flood issues, and we're very happy that she's there, and I've heard from municipalities and others in the area that are fighting those floods that they're very glad that she is there to see what's going on, and our thoughts and prayers are with those communities. I've been through a lot of flood times in my municipal years and even in my own community, and it's a very stressful time. Adding that on top of just trying to get out of COVID and the weather that we've endured, and now they're calling this another Colorado low that's coming this week, and I don't know, we need to tell Colorado to blow the wind in a different direction, I think, but as a government, we've had a really great 3 days out of Winnipeg, meeting with the people, and that is the wish of our Premier, to get out with the people, and that is something I absolutely love doing. I've been doing it since 2007, since I was associated with municipalities, and now as Minister of Municipal, I'm right back in my element where I feel really, really great. So thank you for acknowledging our colleagues that are here today, and I want to acknowledge Mayor Crest. I think this is my 5th time in Brandon since I became Minister in January, and it's been very, very productive. But I'm going to move on, and we're moving to other areas of the province very soon. But Brandon, there's a lot of really great announcements happening, and that's really good because we do recognize the growth here and the economic development that's happening, and it's all because of the people of Brandon and, of course, a great council. That makes a difference. And Chamber of Commerce, too, we've had a lot to do with the Chamber of Commerce and other organizations within Brandon, so it's really good. They don't often get acknowledged, but I do want to acknowledge our staff that's here today. We would be a very confused bunch of people if we didn't have our staff working with us all along behind the scenes, making sure we've got notes and we're in the right places, as well as our media staff and our camera people that travel out from Winnipeg. They're behind the scenes, but they do a great job for us, and it's all of us that make a team. It's not cabinet ministers, it's not MLAs, it's all of us that make a team. So thanks to everybody that's here. So it's a pleasure, like I said, to be back in your community, and it's good to see familiar, friendly faces first thing in the morning. It's really good. It beats question period all to heck, I'll tell you. So just 2 weeks ago, the Premier and I were here in Brandon, and of course our municipal colleagues know, and we shared the great news of Budget 2022 with our friends and colleagues at the AMM Spring Convention. Well, part of that discussion was Recover Together, which indicates that we are more than doubling the Building Sustainable Communities Fund. It is typically up now at $10.3 million. I asked if there would be additional funds, and I was really pleased that we are now sitting at $25 million for this fund, and it will support even more of our local projects in communities all across our province. Large communities, small communities, doesn't matter. This investment will help nonprofits and local governments enhance new and existing public spaces within their communities, and it's at their discretion. From playgrounds to swimming pools and community club upgrades, this $25 million investment will help ensure our local communities can grow and thrive, especially as we emerge from the pandemic together. So today, again, I am announcing Building Sustainable Communities program that we have approved 427 projects throughout the province at over $25 million. There are two categories within that. 13.43 is for large capital projects, and the joint funding between the municipality or the nonprofit is up to $300,000. And there are 364 projects in the regular stream, which is up to a $75,000 max, and that is a total of $11.86 million. As part of that, I'm also pleased to share that 46 projects have been approved for the Brandman and Westman region, and that totals over $2.2 million. And very happy to announce that $300,000 will support additional facility space here at YMCA Brandon, including programming space and outdoor playground. And thank you for the tour that we had just prior to this morning. So I'm just going to give you a wee bit of a breakdown of what's coming to Brandon and area. It's not just Brandon. And this is not all of them. This is just a few that we chose to share with you. $300,000 to build a new outdoor aquatic center in Boissevain. $75,000 to build a play structure and outdoor sports courts, including basketball, tennis, and pickleball, right here in Brandon. $75,000 to renovate Community Hall, including kitchen upgrades in Souris. $10,000 to upgrade Verdon Curling Club, including installing a wheelchair ramp. And I'm not sure how this one got in here, but I'll explain it to you. $19,750 to develop community green space, including picnic shelters, picnic tables, fire pit, and benches in Edrins. Who knows where Edrins is? Ah, interesting. It's in my constituency. It's a tiny little hamlet, let's call it that. When you're traveling down 16 at the Arden Ridge, if you turn and go south, it's a tiny little community. But there's a group of people there, and they have their own private school, and very robust little community. There's no services at all. And I was really interested to see that they had actually applied and received funding. They would be in the rural municipality of Langford, Jody, Langford what? North Cypress, there we go. They're amalgamated, so I've lost track. But, you know, that just goes to show the scope, you know. Edrins, Manitoba, probably, I'm going to say 100 people maybe, and City of Brandon, you know, but everybody's included. So that made me feel really good. Really. I think it's an error that they're in there, but you know what, it's good to know. Let's put it that way. So our government's $25 million investment responds to the high program demand, and it supports community and regional initiatives, including capital infrastructure projects that enhance existing public facility and spaces. This program also leverages the tremendous local fundraising efforts carried out by municipalities, as well as a wide variety of nonprofit organizations that are absolutely a vital part of our community fabric. Our community leaders and volunteers play a special role in our society and their efforts to promote community cohesion and well-being. Our government recognizes the importance of municipalities and community-based organizations in building thriving and sustainable communities all across the province. We are so proud to support these community projects and collective efforts undertaken across the province to provide high quality of life for all Manitobans. So in closing, I want to acknowledge all project applicants and stakeholders for their dedication and active involvement in community projects. Your efforts have strengthened our province and contributed to projects that will have a lasting impact for years to come. And thank you, everybody, for being here this morning.
Thank you, Minister. I'd now like to invite Mayor Kress to say a few words.
Thank you very much, MLA Greg Nesbitt, Minister Clark, Minister Helwer, Minister Cullen, Deputy Premier Cullen, I might add, although you won't be on duty that long. The Premier is on her way back, and really appreciate that she is out engaging in the flood fight throughout our province. You know, we've got our fingers crossed here that we won't be in as bad a trouble, and that way, you know, all the resources will be able to be concentrated on more the eastern part of our province. But it's certainly a great pleasure for me to be here, and I'm happy to be joined by two of my council colleagues, Councillors Fawcett and Lupke, in this still spectacular, in my view, newish, fabulous facility here at the Brannan Family YMCA. Do we still call it the Brannan Family YMCA? Yeah. I like to call it the Dude Crystal YMCA, and always seeing how it is advancing and expanding. There's construction going on just to the south side of the building. Now this announcement, I'm sure we're going to hear greater detail from Lon, all the things that this grant will provide. And the YMCA, and I can attest to this as a little guy in Brannan, has been contributing really to the health and well-being of members of our community, young and old, every age group for literally decades and decades. And it's just only gotten stronger and bigger and better, and has such a profound impact on our community that that's very difficult to measure. And it's not just obviously in this facility, and Lon and I haven't traded notes, and he hasn't paid me to do this sort of testimonial, but their impact on daycares, for example, is very profound in our community as well. And yet here's another project that's going to again improve the lives and the health and well-being of our community. And I'd like to also pay kudos to the government of Manitoba. As you know, I believe strongly in kind of forming relationships and having teamwork, and we're certainly enjoying a tremendous level of that with our provincial government. Time after time, we're able to partner together in projects and enhancements to our community, not just in Brannan, but throughout the whole region, which is every bit as important to us in Brannan as those projects that are strictly in Brannan. And the minister hit it on the head. These particular projects and the pool of grants that she made mention to, in my view, are some of the best investments that a government can make, in that they partner in and lever additional funding through fundraising, through sponsorship, through individual efforts on the part of community members throughout our province. So really the province gets a tremendous bang for its buck with the investment that they make, and it levers so much more, then creates jobs, construction work quite often, voluntary efforts, on and on it goes. So the impact of these particular grants is extremely far outreaching, and I really commend the government on all of these, and obviously this one in particular at the moment. So I'd like to thank everyone that's gathered here, the Y and its board of directors and its staff and its volunteers and its donors. That's really what makes this continue to excel and have such an amazing impact on our community. So thank you very much for allowing me to share a moment of this very exciting announcement, and we just look forward to seeing things continue to move forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rick. I'd now like to ask YMCA President and CEO Lon Cullen.
Thanks very much. I have nothing to say after Rick had his little say there. Just in terms of the decades and decades, this Y has been in the community since 1886. And so we have been on this block since 1907. And this is the third physical building that has been on this block over the last little while. The Y would very much like to thank Ministers Clark and the other MLAs and ministers who are here for their very generous donation to our YMCA. It is not the first, and it hopefully will not be the last. This has been coming. We are very much a part of the community, and the government has been very much a part of us as well. As was mentioned, the funding is allowing us to expand our facility to remain in the core of our community, which we feel is very much a heart of our community. We believe that the Y is a heart of the community as well in a different fashion. The funding that we have is part of a $7.2 million project that we're undertaking here, and we hope to get that done by next summer. It should be totally completed at that point. The expansion will allow us to serve more children, more families, more seniors, and all the other participants in our region. With the expansion of space, we're going to be able to serve 25% more kids in day camps. Normally in the summertime, we run over 1,000 children through day camps, and this will increase that capacity to help families in our community throughout the non-school time. The expansion will also provide more programming for seniors. My mom is currently in the class, in the Aquafit class there at 87 years old. She's one of a group of 40 individuals who've got together. And it's surprising that the social network that comes out of that community, it's not just participating in a class. If I can use the example during the pandemic, that exact same group was out in the community. They'd take a coffee from Tim Hortons in one of those little buckets and go sit in picnic tables. They had a telephone tree that talked to everybody, because it's more than just the fitness, it's the mental health that comes along with that. In our gym right now, we're offering 40 land classes per week, 40 plus land classes per week. So it's another way of people coming in. If you look at on the way out, there's a fitness class in there, and there's probably 25 or 30 individuals who are there pretty religiously every morning at this time. Families also are looking for a safe place, and we believe the Y is a very, very safe place for communities to come. The physical expansion will give us more space, and it'll give us, what we're hoping to is allow for more physical distancing. It's a word I never wanted to hear, but I've learned about over the last couple of years, and our members are beginning to expect that. So just in closing, I'd like to say the government recognizes the value of organizations like the Y in there, and we very much value the partnership between the Y and the communities and the government as well. Thank you very much, and thank you for being here today to help celebrate this fantastic announcement. So.
Thank you very much, Lon. This concludes the formal part of our announcement. Our participants are now willing to take questions from the media if you'd like to fire away.